this morning. We got our load cut at 3 o'clock this morning, truck loaded, and he was out of here by 5:30, I think. I'm not really too sure. I think he was out of here around that time. But I'm just working on the harvester right now because the other day when it was kind of drizzly and rainy outside, I noticed something. The roller that's in here, I don't know if you guys can see that too well. I'll get down a little bit lower so you can see. This roller right here. This is the drive, basically your drive wheel, drive roller for this gear, and the chain that goes up to the chop knife. And the chop knife comes down every 6 3/4 feet because that's how long our pieces are. Well, what I noticed was our pieces were coming up a lot longer than they should be. So some people probably got 8 footers and 8 and a little bit long pieces, so they got more than what they paid for, which is, well, good for them. But this roller was skidding. So it was causing this to turn slower, and in a sense, well, the machine's still moving forward. This is skidding, and it only cuts whenever it catches and actually rolls, right? So what happened was last fall, it was really wet and raining in the fall. So this spot up in here, I don't know how well you guys can see it, but all up in here that sits on top of this roller was just plugged, and it was plugged with all this stuff right here. It is really nasty smelling. It's basically compost right now because it's just broken down peat moss and grass and a bunch of crap in there. It really stinks. It makes me want to throw up. It's terrible. But pulled the bolt out of here, loosened this bolt off, dropped the roller down, stuck a bar in there, clean all that junk out of there. Now we shouldn't have a problem. Should roll nice and free. Pieces will be nice, the right length. The problem is for us, other than the fact that we're giving away extra sod, is when you're piling that stuff, the rolls, when you add another foot, adds another few inches around on the piece so that they don't fit on the pallet very nicely, which makes the pallets very messy looking and just, they don't look very good, and they're messy and they're hard to handle with the forklift and the skid steer, and they don't fit on the trailer very nice because if they're larger rolls, it's big fluffy pieces, the pallets don't fit very nice and tight together on the semi. So everything just works a lot better when it's working freely like it's supposed to when it's brand new. I also noticed another issue after, well, we haven't done these bearings for, I want to say, a good 7 or 8 years, but now we're starting to get lots of play in here. So we ordered a bearing kit. I'll get this one and this one for sure on both sides because it's like that on both sides. This piece right here, this is your reciprocating, I'll turn this. This is what drives the cutter knife. So that just goes around on there, and it just goes around odd shaped, and it just forces it back and forth. So reciprocating bearing hinge point, and that drives the cutter knife. While this is off, I'm going to sharpen it anyway because it needs to be sharpened. It's getting kind of dull. It's sharp enough it'll cut you, but there's a lot of burrs and the blade's curling a little bit. Hit a couple rocks. There's a ding right here, ding right here, and a couple little dings right here. All stuff that just helps factor in roll size as far as how nice it cuts and all that stuff. Blade's got to be sharpened. When it's slower week, I'll do it every second day. If we're harvesting lots every day, it gets done every day. So yeah, I'm going to start putting this back together now that it's all freed up. Should be good. Hopefully the bearings and stuff that we ordered come in by next week and nothing happens in the meantime. We've been pumping it full of grease. Should be okay. So I don't know if Kesmac designed it this way or not, but the blade fits perfectly for sharpening on the cutter head right here. where the weights hang, so I just pull the weights off. These aren't the original weights. I don't know where our original weights are. I think they're in a field somewhere, honestly, or they're in the ditch. We had a really wet year when we first bought this machine, so we didn't need the weights because the cutter head kept digging in and sinking into the ground. So we pulled the weights off, and usually you hang them off the side of the front weight. Well, we had to cut back as much weight as we could possibly because it was so wet. We were getting stuck like every 30 or 40 feet on the field. So we pulled that off. We left the big set on. Now we're in a really dry year and we need weights. So these are actually off the Polaris, these orange ones. They're off the Polaris or an older case tractor or something. I'm not exactly sure. So yeah, that's what we use right now. The only unfortunate part, which I'm just looking at right now, is this cover for the nut. I'm gonna have to replace that because they've been eating the cover here. Either way, this works really good because this is where the weights usually go, and it's got a bar. It keeps it from flipping over. It kind of holds it just nice so that you can sharpen the blade, flip it over, sharpen it again. This side, I only usually just, this is the bottom half, so you usually just get rid of any of the burrs that are sticking downwards that could tear the ground, and then flip it over and then actually sharpen it. If you ever slip with one of these files, you're almost guaranteed you're going to need stitches because it just peels you like paper. Okay, so slight change of plans. I looked at the bearings on the roller a little bit closer. They're pretty much worn right out. So I'm heading out to local parts place, and hopefully they have those bearings. They're standard bearings, so I don't see why they wouldn't. I think that was part of our problem of why that roller was so hard to turn and why the chain keeps popping off, because the bearing is worn out. We got the harvesters all put back together, ready to go for tomorrow morning. Not very much sod for tomorrow, but that's okay because we got our mower box back and brand new pulley put on here. So I'll just show you guys that real quick. Nothing like the original. There's no nut holding this on. It's all compression fitting, and this sucks it in tight, holds it. So hopefully this is the same depth and everything that we need to put on our mower. Alright, so yeah, good day all in all. Got the bearings replaced on the harvester for the roller. Anyways guys, I'm going to leave the video here for now. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. God bless.